In the morning, Tak runs into the bookstore where she tried to bury her memory and left the maple leaf. To the girl's luck, just at that moment the demon's nephew brought the book in to return it at the request of a relative. The old landlord stops by to visit the demon and his grandson, and he catches the angel of death in the living room. The boys know that the old man doesn't allow outsiders to live in the mansion, and the buddies act out a play, introducing the Reaper as Kim Shi's best friend who has stopped by to visit him. While the old man stays in the house, the angel of death has to sit on the porch, and this makes him very angry, but the demon lets him in, crediting the prank. But the demon doesn't let his nephew in, still resenting him for renting out the house without his permission. The angel of death avenges his buddy's prank by ruining the white doormat with blood. The cafe owner discovers that Tak has been sleeping at the cafe for days. The girl fears that she will be fired from her job, but instead the director gives her a paycheck and lets her stay. The bond between the young men doesn't go away. When Tak's food burns, Kim Shi smells burnt and smiles. He comes to the girl's rescue and the couple quarrels again, but finally the demon manages to convince his girlfriend to go to a cafe with him. All the while, the demon tries to figure out if the girl sees a sword in him or not, but Tak avoids this conversation. The angel of death joins the couple, and Tak begins to panic, thinking that the guy has come for her. But this time the Reaper reassures her, assuring her that he's on her side and trying to hypnotize her girlfriend into seeing and pulling out the sword. An urgent call forces the Reaper to leave, and the couple is left alone. To poke fun at his buddy, Tak calls the angel of death cute, and this makes Kim Shi very angry. To smooth over the unpleasant conversation, he arranges the fate of the two visitors by showing his girlfriend as a performance of a beautiful love story. Walking around, Kim Shi confesses to the girl that, in fact, the guy and the cave girl are vain, ungrateful, and evil, and he brought them together to punish them for their sins in past lives. The demon tells the girlfriend again that she is not the demon's bride, and, offended, Tak leaves, but her pal's smile makes her heart melt. The demon's nephew guesses that the uncle's buddy living with them is the angel of death. Because of this, the house is in turmoil again, but the friends manage to have a heart-to-hearty talk. While the boys are chatting, the nephew tries to talk to the grandfather, who has come to check on the state of the house, and it turns out that the old man also knows the whole truth about the Reaper and a demon. In addition, the grandfather also knows about his grandson's shenanigans, for which he punishes him by making him do his exercises. Realizing that his grandfather will definitely not give him any money now, the guy pretends to be a millionaire, begging the clerk to give him a credit card. The angel of death is going to the store, and the demon ties up after him, fearing that his buddy wants to take the girl. But the Reaper promises not to. He's convinced that Tak is the demon's bride, and he wants the prophecy to be fulfilled so his friend can finally find peace. Kim Shi arrives at his girlfriend's house and confesses that he missed her and just wanted to see her. Without telling her anything, the guy returns home and packs his things to leave town. At this time, the angel of death strolls across the bridge, where a beautiful stranger is selling small goods. The girl stops the Reaper and he notices a turquoise ring on her table. Tears flow from Angel's eyes, but unexpectedly, there is another customer for the ring, the cafe owner, Sunny. The girl agrees to give up the ring, only on the condition that the handsome guy will take her number and call. The acquaintance is watched not only by the saleswoman, but also by the old woman who used to stand there. Looking out of the mirror, she promises that the young men will pay a high price to meet. In his belongings, Kim Shi finds a portrait of the princess, and he recalls the day she died. Tak is working in a cafe when suddenly the hostess starts yelling and calling herself ugly, regretting that she didn't get the ring, and remembering the handsome guy who was also thinking of her. Leaving the principal behind, Tak runs home and learns from her landlord that her in-laws are moving into the market. The landlady lets the girl get her things, and the first thing she does is bring out a dried buckwheat bouquet, which immediately develops in the wind, and the girl manages to put only a thin twig in her book. The next day, her teacher calls Tak and demands to see her things. Someone slandered the girl by lying that they saw her with a cigarette. Even though it pains the girl to hear the hurtful words, she doesn't call Kim Shi, and the guy complains to his friend that it makes him feel bad. Tak leaves for the marina, and without holding back her tears, the girl talks to her late mother, complaining about her hard life. At that moment, Kim Shi appears behind her, and he shelters his girlfriend with an umbrella, asking how she has lived without him these days. The girl gives the demon a maple leaf. Looking at it, the boy admits that they are breaking up. He is leaving town for good. In the evening, a bell rings at the boys' house for the first time in 60 years. The mystical men look at each other frightened, and the Reaper is the first to open the door, behind which is Tak. To stop her lover, the girl confesses that she sees him, the sword with which the demon was killed. Kim Shi doesn't immediately believe the girl's words, but she manages to prove it by pointing her finger at the strange object. Yin Tak says that she's seen the sword since the first meeting, she just thought it was impolite to talk about it. Kim Shi is delighted and frightened at the same time. He runs to the Reaper and confesses that he doesn't want his girlfriend to kill him, as written in the prophecy. The friends return to the girl, and she asks them to take her in. Her relatives are gone, and now she has nowhere to live. Even the angel of death does not frighten her. If she is to die, it is better to die with dignity among her friends than in the street. The demon tries to buy the girl off and gives her 5 million won so she can find another place to live, but Yeon Tak refuses the money and declares that she wants to have a baby and live happily with her fiancé. Kim Shi hears her friend's every thought, but he won't admit it to her. The boy tells the old man about everything, and the old man moves the demon bride into the best room, saying that he and his grandson are ready to serve her. For the first time, Yeon Tak feels at home, but she even gets a little scared from lying alone in the spacious room. The grandson tries to find out from his grandfather who the girl is, but the old man only says that a lot depends on her and asks the boy to take care of his guest. Kim Shi takes several pills at once for her nerves. These same pills are also taken by the angel of death. The girl sees the rain and realizes that her lover is sad, but she doesn't have time to think much longer about the reason, because the demon's nephew takes her to school on the old man's orders. After hearing that the girl is the same Yeon Tak, the boy tells her why her relatives disappeared when they went to turn in the gold bars to the jeweler. He called the police because the jewels turned out to be stolen. Her aunt tried to pin the blame on her niece, but she couldn't remember her name or her own address. The Reaper also suffers from problems of the heart. He cannot forget the girl he met at the shop, and now he comes to the same place, hoping to see her again. But the angel of death has to leave his post and go back to work. That's when a very old man's heart stops in a hospital. Back from school, Yeon Tak finds herself alone in her room again. Unable to stand it, the girl knocks on the door of the big house, but no one opens it for her. The dead old man is greeted by a demon in the tea room. They have seen each other for years before, when Kim Shi stopped him from running away from home and protected him from his abusive father. The old friends thank each other, and the demon lets the old man go to heaven without giving him the memory-wiping drink. Kim Shi smells the candle and returns home, where Yeon Tak is already waiting for him. The girl is resentful of her friend for avoiding her, even though she knows she is his fiancée. Demon is hesitant to say exactly what he's afraid of, and to smooth over the conflict, he invites his girlfriend out to dinner in town, and the pair have a great night out walking the night streets. On their nerves, Kim Shi drinks too much, and while walking, he forbids Yeon Tak to even think about other guys without admitting that he likes her. The demon tells the bride that only she can get the sword out of him, but he won't reveal the truth to her that he will die afterwards. The couple agree to do so on the day of the first snowfall. On his way to school, Yeon Tak sees cherry blossoms blooming in the city, and everyone thinks it's a natural anomaly. But the demon's friends know what it means. Something good happened to him at night, and now the trees are strewn with pink flowers. In the morning, his nephew takes the demon to a cafe, and when Kim Shi's head stops hurting, he remembers what he did the night before. The guy admits to his friends that he told his fiancée how to pull out the sword. Sonny visits the makeup artist every day, expecting a call from a stranger on the sidewalk. While the girl hopes to run into him at her old place, the angel of death walks around town, dreaming of meeting her there. Back at work, the supervisor continues to stare longingly out the window. Angry classmates take Yeon Tak's business card, which the old landlord left her. The girls start teasing the orphan, but unexpectedly, a cigarette appears in the hands of the boldest one just as the teacher enters the classroom. Finally, justice is served and the bullies are taken away, and Yeon Tak sees that her ghost friends helped her. Kim Shi himself arrives to pick up the girl from school. The couple goes to a restaurant to grab a bite to eat, and the demon tries to figure out if Yeon Tak really sees the sword in him. There's no doubt, the girl describes the hilt of the sword, and the demon has to tell him a little about himself, mentioning that he's almost 1,000 years old. The guy does his best to make Yeon Tak not want to be his bride. The girl suspects that her boyfriend just doesn't like her, and in order to win his heart, she tries to draw her sword, but Kim Shi manages to dodge it. The demon distracts her friend by turning water into a sword and playing games with her at the fountain. But Yeon Tak's mood is ruined again when she remembers that she has no superpowers. The girl strays away for a few minutes, leaving her lover with a book in the park. During this time, she writes a letter and sends it through the hotel mailbox. When Yeon Tak returns, the stripes in the crosswalk beneath her feet turn red. Watching her have fun, the demon admits to himself for the first time that he has truly fallen in love with his fiancée.